it looks like, well, it must be a she because it looks like she's wearing a skirt and maybe a light colored top. And she looks like she's on the floor and there's something dark around her.
That is so cool. I can't believe you see all that. And then you describe.
It's really fuzzy.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
But he's saying hello to his beloved dog. Now, this is a very kind looking man with his dog. Does that change your mind about whether you think he's guilty or innocent of this horrendous plan to kill his wife?
Okay, looking at this photo, strangely enough, I'd say guilty.
Oh, get out of here. I would have said exactly the opposite. How come?
She's not our victim.
Oh, you know that right away?
Yeah.
Now, how do you know that?
Because she said she's not our victim.
She said she's not our victim? She's talking to you?
Yeah, when I look at her, I see I'm not your victim.
We'll find out why and how he's involved. Yeah.
Was he the hitman?
Now, why would you say that? We haven't talked about a hitman. What do we got to do with a hitman here?
It's the way he looks. That's what's throwing me. He reminds me of a gangster.
Okay. All right. Well.
And gasoline. Like every time I look at him, I smell gasoline.
And now, Radio Sydney presents Seeing Dead People, episode 54, Who Murdered Christine Demeter.
Hello, Darcy. How are you this evening?
I'm fine. How are you, Nicola?
I'm actually not too bad, actually, Darcy. I'm looking forward to always talking to you about something spooky, something ghostly, something murderously. We're going to look into a pretty neat, well, I shouldn't say neat because it's a crime, but a famous crime tonight. I'm just wondering, as always, you might have little inklings. So before I lay down anything, have you got any idea what we're talking about tonight?
No, I just know that probably someone got killed.
Good guess. Okay. Well, we're going to look into a famous historical crime, as always, with some really bizarre elements this time. We're in our home country, believe it or not. But we're in Mississauga, which is Ontario. It's near, of course, outside of the big smoke, Toronto itself.
Yeah.
We are in the summer of 1973. It's a warm winter evening on July 18th, in fact, in a quiet, wealthy, suburban neighborhood. Any ideas of what might happen here?
Well, either a person was killed in their home or a family was killed in their home, going with the person. With a person.
Okay, cool. Is the person male or female?
My guess is female.
Yeah, that's probably 90% of the time, right? Okay.
In suburbia, yeah.
Yeah, in suburbia as well, yeah. So a man steers his Mercedes up his driveway towards his open garage of his very upscale home. And what does he see?
Well, if he's got the Mercedes, it's got to be, it's not an empty garage because he's got the Mercedes. So there's something on the floor. No one's swinging, so they weren't hung. Okay, something on the floor. It's not a pet because it's not moving.
I can see you're actually in your head seeing something happening. So tell us what you're seeing in your head when you're looking like that away from us.
Okay, what I'm looking at is like there's, say, the square where the garage door is open.
Yep.
And there must have been like maybe two garage doors because it looks like one's open and there's this one over here that's closed.
Yep. Okay.
And it looks like there might be a second vehicle.
Okay.
Like maybe a Cadillac or something like, my cousin used to drive it. A Suburbia, but a top end one, not a small end. Okay. And then there's this, it looks like, well, it must be a she because it looks like she's wearing a skirt and maybe a light colored top. And she looks like she's on the floor and there's something dark around her.
That is so cool. I can't believe you see all that. And then you describe.
It's really fuzzy.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. it's really fuzzy, and I don't know if it's because part of me feels as though it's funny because she looks like she was in motion. So I'm wondering if the person hurt her from behind, like the way she looks. It's like, have you ever seen one of those where someone's trying to get away from something?
Yes.
That's what it looks like. One arm up, her leg a little bent, and then she's laying there. Not quite in the fetal position, but pretty close.
Okay. Wow. Well, geez, Darcy, you pretty well described exactly what the man found when he pulled his car up. The headlights, well, not really, it wasn't dark, I don't think too dark, shone onto the garage. There was a Cadillac in the garage.
Oh,
So a second car. So well done on that. There was a woman sprawled on the ground, as you say, not moving, dead, with a pool of blood under her. Okay. And what he was seeing is the shocking scene of the death, the body, lifeless body of his 33-year-old wife and mother of their 3-year-old daughter, who at the time was inside watching television.
oh, wow.
Exactly. Oh, wow. So you are exactly right in what has happened there. I can't believe that. And this poor woman was brutally and violently assaulted over the head by just vicious assault with a blunt instrument of some sort.
Like
And
a hammer?
they never found the instrument, so you'd have to tell me. I don't think they even came up with a clue of what it was. But it becomes one of Canada's really worst and most famous crimes. Now, you probably don't. I don't think you know of this crime because it sounds to me like I'm not giving you that information. So that's great. You're actually just coming up with it as always as a psychic. I'm going to show you some pictures, and as I have to say to our audience, I can't give the audience these pictures this time. They're copywritten. However, it's really dead easy, audience or listeners, to check them out by typing into Google the words Peter Demeter. I'm going to show you 3 pics there, Darcy. Black and white photos of 3 youngish women. One is related to the story. One is a red herring to throw you off. And one is our victim. So I'd like you to look at all 3 first and then see if you can pick which of the 3 is our victim, which is the red herring. And then the last will be, of course, the person who has some involvement outside of being the victim in this storyline. So I'll have a look at image number 1 and tell me about this very attractive young woman.
All right. She reminds me of Bewitched.
Yeah, I was going to say
the hair up and everything.
Very much so.
Elizabeth Montgomery.
Yes, that's it. You got it right. Well done.
Okay. She reminds me of her. Very beautiful. She's got, looks like pearl earrings or something, or diamonds on. And her hair comes down and curls a little and looks like she was wearing either a white gown or on the shoulder and then a solid on the shoulder, like a Grecian dress.
Yeah, you're like a goddess actually in a statue. Yes, absolutely.
I would say probably a model or did modeling because she looks that gorgeous. Like if she didn't, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, right. Okay. Do you get anything about her herself?
We'll save that.
Okay, good. You saved that. Okay. Do you want to say anything else about her before you go to the next one?
I love her eyes and the fact that it looks like she's really looking into your soul, like she's trying to discover who you are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she is. Yeah, I could see that. She's very soulful, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's very attractive, as you say. Okay, we'll save what you have in the back of your mind there and move on to the next photograph then. That's photograph number 2. Again, a black and white picture. Again, a very attractive young woman.
Yeah, they could pass as sisters, possibly. But she's not our victim.
Oh, you know that right away?
Yeah.
Now, how do you know that?
Because she said she's not our victim.
She said she's not our victim? She's talking to you?
Yeah, when I look at her, I see I'm not your victim.
Oh, get out of here. Oh, cool. I don't see that.
Yeah, I know you don't.
Okay.
And then your third one.
Yeah, our third one.
Well, same kind of shape of face, maybe a little more angular. She knows the husband, doesn't she?
You tell me.
Well, I'm feeling she does, but she's not our victim either.
Is she saying to you, I'm not the victim?
No, she's too alive.
Too alive. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And when you say she knows the husband, how do you come to that?
I'm not sure if she's had an affair with him or whether she is related somehow.
Okay.
But there is a connection to the husband.
Wow. Okay, well, I shall tell you then. Photo number 1, who do you think
Is our
victim? 2 or 3?
is our victim.
Photo number 1 is our victim. That is Christine Demeter. You're right. She is Austrian born, a former model, as you said, 33 years of age, and the wife of this man, Peter Demeter, who drove up in his Mercedes and found her. She was obviously this victim of this ferocious and deadly an ambush, and she died from blunt force trauma. Now that you know she is officially the victim, can you tell us anything more about her?
Well, I'm not sure she was 100% happy.
Okay.
I feel she's got a kindness, but if she was mad, look out.
Okay.
I think she could be very ferocious in her attitude.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say perfection was her key number 1, but things did have to be orderly.
Oh, okay. Well, just looking at her, she's beautifully put together, I guess, and her hair is just perfect. And as you say, the clothing, the look of her is really lovely. So she's obviously got, she cares a lot about her looks. Former model, I'm not surprised. Okay. So you're telling me then that photo number 2 is who then?
I don't know.
So she's our red herring.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
You're dead right there. She is a model, not famous. She's a model of the time, but she's got nothing to do with this story. So you nailed her. Well done.
Oh, okay.
Great. And number 3, again, you nailed number 3. Her name is Marina Hunt, and she has a relationship with Peter Demeter, as you said. Okay.
Oh.
She is also Austrian. She is also a model, and she is Demeter's, or was, and is, it's sort of confusing, mistress of Peter Demeter.
That's funny because she's older. So
she is older.
Why did he go older?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, well, this brings us to our central character today then. What?
Nothing.
Okay, keep it in mind. Our central character, of course, is named Peter Demeter. He's 40 years old, so probably a similar age to Marina. She's a little older, right, than 33. He's Hungarian born. He's wealthy, a real estate developer, and he's Christine's husband. I'm going to ask you if you have any sense of him before we have a look at some photographs.
Okay, does he have like dark hair opposed to being blonde?
We'll find out very soon. Yeah.
Okay. Very driven, obviously.
Right.
And believes in getting his own way.
Okay. Well, that sounds probably pretty reasonable for him. Do you think at this stage, I'm going to ask you, it's early, but did Peter Demeter have anything to do with his wife's death?
Strangely enough, I want to say no, but there's a piece of me that thinks they thought he did.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Well, let's have a look at 3 photographs of men, gentlemen, again at the similar time. A tri-pack I'm going to show you. Again, one of them will be Peter Demeter. Another is a man involved in this case. And a third is our red herring trying to fool you. So I want you to look at photos 4, 5, and 6 before saying anything and commenting. You just look at them yourself and consider them, and then we'll talk through them.
Okay. Funny, I would have thought he had dark hair, but 5 is standing out the same way the first one did.
When you say the first one, what do you mean? Christine?
Christine, her picture stood out.
Okay.
So I'm going to say 5 stands out.
Okay.
6 is sort of flat, but I would have thought 6 might have been him.
Okay.
But 5 stands out. 4, I know there's some sort of connection. See, and that's throwing me a little because now that I look at 4, he stands out. Okay, on this one, I'm going to go with 5, but 4 is throwing me, and 6. 6, I smell gasoline. Oh crap! I don't know what. Honestly, 6 strikes me as being. Is he? See. Nope. I'm stuck here because I would say 4 definitely has something to do with this.
Okay.
Number 4. Number 5. He's got the look of that person who's going to get what he wants in life.
Okay.
Number 6. I'm throwing.
Okay.
Okay, so which one's what?
Okay. Number 4, the man who's got sort of graying hair and thick black glasses and a beard.
Yeah.
He is your red herring.
Okay, he is.
To do with
That's
the
what I
story.
thought.
Right. Okay. Number 5, another man with thick glasses but graying hair and no beard. He is Peter Demeter.
Okay.
He's the husband. So your initial instinct, your gut reaction to him was right at the beginning. You kind of talked yourself out of it.
Yep.
Okay.
And number 6, he's
Number
involved.
6, he's involved. We'll find out why and how he's involved. Yeah.
Was he the hitman?
Now, why would you say that? We haven't talked about a hitman. What do we got to do with a hitman here?
It's the way he looks. That's what's throwing me. He reminds me of a gangster.
Okay. All right. Well,
And gasoline. Like every time I look at him, I smell gasoline.
oh, interesting. Well, he's Hungarian, and his name is Csaba Szilágyi, and I'm not even going to try and spell it to you because it's an impossible looking in English word name. But I think that's how it's pronounced. He is Peter Demeter's best friend.
Oh.
Okay. Now, initially, the police thought the murder of Christine Demeter was a home invasion gone terribly wrong. Okay. That was their initial feeling. Peter Demeter has an alibi.
Yeah.
He was shopping with people. Okay. And Christine was home with the little gal. Now, Peter immediately put up a $10,000 reward to help find the killer of his wife. But he didn't provide her grave with a tombstone. So for me, public facing, he's trying to be the aggrieved husband.
Yeah.
But privately, he's a cheap bastard who doesn't want to honor her. But I don't know. This is me making this stuff up. Okay. What do you think?
I'd be on the same boat because why would you publicly recognize your wife and not do something privately for her?
Yeah, doesn't say
It's
much.
like you wanted to erase her memory.
Kind of, I think, because you don't even honor her with something that indicates she was there.
Yeah.
Nameplate of some sort. Okay. Well, the investigation resulted, of course, in a lot of questions. There was no sign of forced entry. There's no robbery. So they were suspicious it was a targeted attack, because otherwise, why come to this house and murder this young woman?
Well,
Now,
yeah, because think about it. They have a 3-year-old daughter. He's wealthy. They could have killed her, kidnapped the kid, and asked for ransom.
absolutely. And if that's what you were trying to do, that would have been the thing to undertake. But they didn't.
Absolutely.
She was just murdered. With a little bit of investigation, the police learn a bit more about the couple. Can you give any ideas of what you think might have been going on with the couple?
Well, first of all, we know he was having an affair. I think they've been arguing and not exactly the most what goes on behind closed doors sort of idea, the arguing the maybe the physicalness to it as well.
Okay.
I'm wondering if they maybe had a little financial thing going on too. and whether or not she either wanted to branch out and reinforce her career again. Okay, so there's definitely problems with their marriage.
Right. And that's exactly what the police discovered. They kind of have the glamorous public face, and in fact, the marriage was crumbling. They had been together about 6 years before they were married, so they've been together a fair length of time. Sadly, it went awry. I think there was a lot of jealousy, obviously infidelity, and there were financial disputes, as you were saying. Christine had told friends she was unhappy, and Peter was becoming much more controlling of her. So I'm not sure if he was himself wanting to not have her as his wife because he was trying to control her, but he was happily having an affair at the same time. You know, he was wanting his cake and eating it too, I guess.
Yeah.
So the police did something kind of sneaky.
They wired his phone?
Exactly. Well, they wired his house.
Nice.
And this little man who's this guy named Chaba Shilaji, who's got this black slick back hair, and he does have a gangster look to him in this last photograph, number 6. The best friend, you know, went many times to visit Peter Demeter, and he ends up being he squeals and helps the police. And they discover that Peter has rekindled his affair with Marina Hunt. And he also says that Peter Demeter talked to him about plotting to kill his wife, Christine. And he thought of getting a hitman. He thought of even shocking her with electricity in their swimming pool in the backyard, or having her run over shotgun shells in an attempt to explode her Cadillac. Can you imagine?
Wow.
And the police also discovered that Peter Demeter had taken out $1 million life insurance against his wife's life. So pretty good motive. He's got the fling happening again with the girlfriend, and he's got $1 million to buy her special little baubles with if he gets rid of Christine. So he's got a double motive happening here. Do you think then that Peter Demeter had anything to do with this murder?
Everything screams yes. And yet,
you had this. You said they think he's guilty, or that he did it, but you had this idea that perhaps he didn't. He wasn't involved.
Well, yeah, because when you ask the question, I say yes, but I can hear someone in the back of my head going no.
Okay. Well,
maybe he was a big talker and not an action person.
Okay. Well, what do you think happens next with this investigation?
Well, technically, he should get arrested.
Right.
But I don't think if it went to court, they got no proof. It would be all hearsay.
Okay. Well, in August of that summer, late August, they collected a mountain of evidence, and they actually had an expatriate from Hungary, another person called Paul Polgar, and he came forward claiming that Peter had solicited him to be the hitman and to kill Christine.
And what did the guy do? Run off with the money and not do the job?
I don't know he had any money, but he didn't do the job.
Yeah.
Okay. So they arrested Peter Demeter, and he was involved in one of the longest criminal trials in Canadian history, 11 weeks at that time.
Wow.
They argued that he had orchestrated her murder to free himself from a costly divorce, because of course she would be entitled to a lot of money from his wealth, and of course the insurance payout as well. And our guy, Chaba Shilaji, of course, was a star witness because he was the one who informed on Peter, saying he had told me about plotting to kill his wife. So that's eyewitness testimony in the courtroom.
Yeah.
And then another astonishing thing happened during the court trial. They had a testimony from a witness they only called Mr. X. He came to court with a bag over his head.
Oh.
Absolutely. Walked into court, was walked into court by people to help him. He went to the witness stand, bag over his head, testified. He was a jailhouse informant. Peter had been in jail while waiting for trial. And Peter said that he had hired a man nicknamed the Duck to do the murder. Now, this is getting right out of The Sopranos, for God's sake. I can't
No
believe it.
kidding.
Now, later, the duck was identified as a Hungarian, okay, called Imre Ilenik. And he was the one who's supposed to have carried out the killing. But before Canada could extradite him, he died. Don't know how, but he died. So we have the Peter Demeter on trial, 11 weeks in court, pretty damning evidence. What happens?
I want to say he went free.
No, you're wrong about Peter Demeter.
Darn. After all that, they actually put him in jail.
They put him in jail. Right. Now, I want you to look at two other photographs because you might find one of them is what makes you think he's not guilty, and the other one I think might change your mind. So look at photograph number 7. This is Peter coming out of his Mercedes. What do you think of him in this black and white photograph? He's got a polo shirt or something, and he's about to step out of his Mercedes car.
He looks very confident that he knows exactly what's going to occur in his life. You know, I looking at this picture, I would go, don't trust the man.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah.
That's what I would say.
A little devious from that picture.
Yes.
But I was going to throw you. Look at our last photograph, number 8. This is Peter Demeter during the court case, or beforehand, sorry, but he's saying hello to his beloved dog. Now, this is a very kind looking man with his dog. Does that change your mind about whether you think he's guilty or innocent of this horrendous plan to kill his wife?
Okay, looking at this photo, strangely enough, I'd say guilty.
Oh, get out of here. I would have said exactly the opposite. How come?
Because he's above the dog. The dog is controlled. The dog is controlled. The dog is sitting in place. The dog isn't jumping up at him. This is all about control.
Very good, Darcy. You're right. He's absolutely towering over this. I think it's a spaniel who's looking up with really doting eyes. The spaniel doesn't look frightened, I don't think. But
no, the dog's look again at the dog.
You think his little eyes are a little frightened?
You look how big those eyes are.
They look
his
pretty
tongue's
big.
Not sticking out of his mouth, and he's got him here. He's got his hand here.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you think the dog isn't so keen on Peter Demeter?
Not really, because if the dog was, I would tell you the dog would be up with his feet on his knee. There's just something. That picture, I know it wouldn't disturb most people. They'd go, oh, look at that. But when I look at that picture, mine is my gut wants to throw up.
Okay, so you're changing your mind about Peter Demeter's guilt?
I'd like to say, yes, I am changing my mind, but I still hear this voice in the back of my head.
Okay. Well, he was found guilty of first-degree murder, and he was sentenced to life in prison. And to even prove even more to you that this is not a nice man, he's now in his 90s. He's still alive. He's in prison in Ontario. But believe it or not, he has continued to plan and plot serious criminal activities like kidnapping and murders behind the jail cells.
Yeah.
He is one nasty dude. And thank goodness he's consistently applied for parole and consistently be denied.
Yeah.
One judge who actually sentenced him for a pretty serious criminal charge in 1988. So this is like more than 13 years after the first murder. He openly said in court to Peter Demeter, "Your evil knows no bounds. It never rests. It never ends. Whether or not you are inherently evil, I do not know. But you ooze evil out of every pore and contaminate everyone around you." What do you think of that now?
I think it's a great statement because I'm beginning to wonder if we have two personalities, like a psychopath in Peter. We've got the part that believes he's innocent, and we've got the part that says that does the job.
So do you actually believe in this idea that there's a split personality, that one doesn't know the other?
Yes, I
You
do.
could be a nasty person on the surface, but in fact, you're not a nice person underneath, but you know that. You're
Yeah.
saying he doesn't know he's a nasty person underneath?
If he's a split personality psychopath, yeah, the dominant one will take control and only allow them, the other personalities, to know them if he wants them to.
Okay, well, that's a good theory. I've heard of it, and it's interesting, and I know many people believe it and some dispute it. But do you think that this is what you would consider to be Peter Demeter? That he
Yes.
is the kind of person?
I think more towards the dominant side of the personality, but there's a piece of him that doesn't believe he did it. And here's the thing, he didn't kill her, and that's probably what I'm trying to get to here.
Yeah,
He knows he didn't kill her because he didn't kill her,
exactly.
but he knows he arranged it, but refuses to admit to it.
Okay, now that makes more sense. That he knows he did it, but knows he orchestrated it, but he can say quite blithely, I didn't kill my wife.
Yes.
I didn't bludgeon her. I wasn't there, right?
And exactly, because every time you said, did he do it? I heard someone say no. And I was trying to figure out, why are they saying no? But it's because he didn't do it.
Because he didn't do it, yes. But he did orchestrate it.
Yes, that I totally agree.
Murder, right. So he himself is not a murderer. However, he orchestrated the murder of his wife.
Now let's reword that. He is a murderer, just that he didn't kill his wife.
You think he's murdered other times?
Oh, yeah.
Wait a second. You told me this guy might not have been a bad guy. Now you're saying he could have murdered?
Oh, no. He still can be a nice guy, even if he's a murderer.
You think?
Yeah, they have charm. They have personality.
Yes. Okay. Yes. But it's a facade.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I don't think they're nice because it's a facade, but I guess they come across nice.
Yes.
And I'm sure, based on the look of him, I think he's a good schmoozer. You know, you don't get a good real estate developer without the charm, as you say.
Yes. Without that, you don't go nowhere.
No, you don't go nowhere. Yeah. Well, then I would say that Peter Demeter is kind of right up there with our Canadian icon, you know, our sort of horrible individuals who are criminal psychopaths, sickos like Bernardo and Pickett. You know, he sounds to me like that kind of psychopathic, charming. Well, I don't think Robert Pickton was in any way charming, but certainly Bernardo was. Somehow they managed to be, as you say, nice on the surface and away with a lot, but in fact, below is just a really nasty looking individual.
Yep, definitely. Very nasty on the inside, but like a popsicle on the out.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's the tale. It's a chilling tale of betrayal to one's house, greed, and of course, violence. But at least the man who I now look at this picture of him hovering over the dog so differently, the man who isn't really kind to his dog at all. He wanted her dead, but he went to prison for now at least 50 years. So that's a long time in prison.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think nowadays life meant life too often.
No. Is he still in prison then? Or is he dead?
His 90s. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think he's been convicted of, as I said, other serious crimes. And I guess, you know, whatever has been added to his sentence is probably concurrent. So he's serving it anyway. He's a life sentence, whatever that means in Canada these days. I don't know. But yeah, well, there you go. You did well there, Darcy. I think you got it was interesting. The little voice in your head was Peter Demeter telling you he didn't do it. And I guess he's honest with that. He didn't do it. But that's just a lie. That's just an
allusion to the truth.
Yes, exactly. But you were very quickly onto the image of Christine in the garage beside the Cadillac in a pool of blood. That's amazing. I just can't imagine how you come up with that.
It was just like looking at her picture.
Amazing.
And it was, as soon as I could make that connection, because she stood out of the three pictures, that it was, okay, this is her, she's the victim. And then I just let my mind go.
Wow. So when you saw the photograph, did you immediately go, that's the person I'm seeing on the ground?
Yeah. That's why I said, when you said, do you have anything else to say? And I said, no, because I was going to wait and say, after I eliminated the other two, well, there's our victim.
Yeah. So you knew it right away that she was the victim.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you knew right away the female red herring was a total red herring. And
yeah, they look too similar.
Well, it was just, I just, trying to find an image that kind of looked like her to fool you. And then the third one, you knew what they had a relationship of some sort, as you said, it could have been familiar, but it was a romantic relationship with Peter Demeter. So, wow, you were firing on all cylinders early on. And then you got stumbled a bit by the little snake on the back of your neck saying, no, I didn't do it.
Well, no, that's not a stumble. That was exactly what I was hearing. I have to trust the voices. When you said, did he do it? I said, I want to say yes, but I hear this voice saying no, because the truth is he didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then there you go. You nailed it. You wanted to say he was guilty, but you were hearing the voice that was honestly saying, I didn't hit my wife. I didn't.
Yeah. And he'll continue. And I'm pretty sure it was a hammer or a baseball bat.
Okay.
And the thing is, he can continue to say that throughout his life. All the other people he's been involved with, he can't.
Yeah, if he's been directly involved. But this one he can say, I didn't do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, my question is, what happened to the daughter?
Well, that's an interesting question. She is about 40 now, I believe, something like that. She has had a very difficult life, but has come out now into a positive part of her life. She had serious post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Oh,
she
yeah.
had a very difficult time as a teenager and a young woman. She got into drugs. She had a child, which she had to give up for adoption because she was an unfit mother. She admits that. She accepts that. She wishes she could see this daughter. She went through a really difficult, probably 15 or so, 20 years. And now she seems to be coming out of that. She has a pair of twin daughters herself. They're doing well. She's doing well. So that's positive. But she's had a careful life. And she wants to hear only one thing from a phone call, is that Peter Demeter is dead.
Yeah, I can
understand. He has hassled her in her life, sent her letters, pushing her. She has had nothing to do with him. But what a terrible kind of inheritance to have that man as your father. He's still alive. And to struggle so much. I really, my heart goes out to him. So it's interesting you asked about her, because she's doing better now, which is marvelous.
And that is marvelous, because personally, someone should have changed her last name, took away the connection altogether, and she should have had huge counseling to get her through it. Yeah,
I think probably much of that was done. Still, I think it is difficult to surmount that kind of history, that kind of notoriety. I just think it'd be difficult. But the good news is she's doing better.
Yep.
And she hopes to see the other daughter, but I don't think that's happened. But she has two, I think they're 13 or something, year old gals. And so that's good. You have to just say heavens for that. And hope she gets that phone call soon.
Yes.
So, he's left this mortal coil, as they say.
Only the good die young.
What does that say about us?
I'm going to be here a long time.
Yes, we're not that good, but there you go. Having a good time. Okay, well, thanks. That was really good. That was brilliant the way you nailed the victim and the scene at the beginning. And I like that. That was a good controversy. I like that little struggle you were having with what you felt was the truth, but what a little voice was kind of honestly telling you to make you believe something different. So that was interesting. We hadn't had that before.
No. Normally it's yes, guilty.
You have to trust your voices. That was good. So I'm interested in that different approach. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you again.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Seeing Dead People, where goosebumps are guaranteed. We would love to hear from you with questions for Darcy about her psychic process or suggestions for other mystifying situations you would like us to investigate. Please shoot us an email to info@radiosydney.ca with Seeing Dead People in the subject line. New episodes air on our website, radiosydney.ca, on the first Saturday of every month. Episodes repeat Saturday nights at 8 p.m. and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., both Pacific time. All episodes are available as downloadable podcasts at our website or on our YouTube channel, Nicola Furlong Mysteries. I'm Dorian Mortis, weirdly keen on seeing dead people. This has been a presentation of Radio Sydney.